Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have a fun fold card idea that I'm going to share with you. And the fun fold is actually on the inside of the card. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have two different card ideas to share with you that actually feature a fun little window on the outside of the card. But when you open up the card, it has this little pop-up section on the inside. So it's kind of like a little Z-fold card on the inside. And I have two cards to share featuring this fun little window pop-up idea. Now the cards in this video feature the Hello Harvest stamp set from Stampin Up. And they also feature some of the Rustic pumpkin dies, which coordinates, of course, with this particular stamp set. Okay, so this is the little card that I'm going to show you how to make today. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to create this little window on the front of the card. And then I'm going to show you how to create this little pop-up piece for the inside. So you'll notice that this little scallop fits perfectly within that pop-up window. So I'm going to show you how to accomplish that. Okay, so the first thing you need is just a standard card base. So you can use any color, any kind of cardstock. So I am using just Cajun Craze, and so my cardstock piece is 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it in the middle at 4 1/4. So this is just a standard card base. So the next thing you will need is a piece of cardstock for the inside. So I am using just white cardstock for the inside of my card. You can choose any color you want. So my cardstock piece is 5 1/4 by 8 inches. And then I scored it at 2 inches and 4 inches. So you can fold this piece in half, and then you can take that 2-inch score line and you can fold it back on top of itself. So it's basically like you're creating a little Z-fold card, except for you're creating the Z-fold section for the inside of your window card. So this is how it will go on the inside. Okay. So let's start by decorating the front of our card. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take some Cajun Craze ink and we are going to randomly stamp this pumpkin shape all around the outer edges of this cardstock piece. And so you want it to be somewhat random in that you don't want your pieces to exactly line up. So you kind of want to offset them a little bit. All right, so that's what my card front is going to look like. Now, the next thing you will need is you will need some type of die set that you can layer together. So I am using the layering circle dies, and I'm also using the stylish shapes dies so that I can layer some pieces together. So you want to take the largest die from that layering circles die, the largest scallop, and I'm going to use that to create the window on the front of my card. So I'm going to run this through the embossing machine. And basically, you're just going to open up your card. You're going to lay your die on here, and you're going to run it through the embossing machine. Okay, so I have run this through the embossing machine. And so basically, I just cut out this scallop piece from the center. Now, you can save this piece and use it for a different card. We're not going to use it for this card. So the next thing I want to do is my card actually has a scallop piece that is made from early espresso cardstock. So instead of reusing the piece that I just cut out, I simply used the exact same die and cut this piece from early espresso cardstock. And this piece is going to fit perfectly in that spot that we just cut out on the front of our card. The next thing I did is just create another circle shape. So you want a circle shape that is smaller than the scallop that you use to create your window. So this is the piece that we're going to do a little bit of stamping and coloring on. So the first thing you want to do is just stamp the pumpkin shape or whatever shape you're using onto that white cardstock piece. And so I'm going to be coloring it in with some Stampin' Blends. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just add some yellow right in the center of the pumpkin. This is just the dark Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to take the light shade of Pumpkin Pie, and I'm just going to color in kind of these 3 sections right in the middle. So I'm going to color all this in, and I'm going to color directly over that yellow that I just added. And then I'm going to take the dark Pumpkin Pie, and I'm going to color in these outer sections here. And I'm also going to be just kind of highlighting some of the pumpkin using this darker shade. So these little lines that are on the pumpkin, I'm just going to run my dark marker across those lines and just add a little bit more color. And then once I get all of these done, I'm going to take this marker and just run it along the big lines of the pumpkin, just to kind of add a little bit more depth and dimension here. And then the last thing I'm going to do for the pumpkin is I'm going to take that light shade and I'm just going to color this in a little bit more just to blend it. So I'm just going to color right over the top and just blend it like that. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just use a little bit of soft suede. So this is the light shade of soft suede just to color in this top part of the pumpkin. So that's it. Now you can use any coloring tools that you have on hand to color in your pumpkin. I just prefer the Stampin' Blends. Okay, so now I'm going to take that early espresso cardstock piece and I'm just going to line it up in my little window here. And then I'm going to take the piece that I just colored and let's go ahead and adhere this right to that early espresso piece. So that's going to be the focal point for the front of my card. So now I'm going to take this out and we'll open our card up completely. And we're going to take that little fun fold section that we created. So I'm going to adhere this right on the inside of my card. So just add some glue to that back piece. And we'll go ahead and adhere this on the inside. Okay. And so this will be that fun fold, that little Z fold section on the inside of the card. So now we're going to close the card. And we're going to add some glue on this part of our card. And then we're going to take this piece and we are going to fit it right into that little window. And we want to make sure that it opens. So we'll give that a second to dry. And then we should have our little fun fold section. So isn't that cool? So you kind of use the window as your guide for placing this piece on this little edge here. All right, so now we can finish decorating the card. So let's actually start on the inside. I'm going to add some pieces on the inside. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of designer paper on the left side. So this is just a 3/4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. And then I just have a 1/2 inch by 4 inch piece of just a different color of this pattern paper. So I'm using the Rustic Harvest Designer Series paper. And then this piece is just a 1 3/4 by 5 1/4 inch. And this, I'm going to add just right behind this pumpkin in this little space. You could add it before you actually add this piece, but it's pretty easy to get it in there. So then I stamped these little florals. So this is one of the images from the set. And I used a variety of different Stampin' Blends to color it in. So I'm just going to actually glue this right onto the inside of the card. So I'm going to do it up towards the top here, because that way when you open it, you'll see the little pumpkin and then you'll see the little floral there. So it's just kind of a fun way to decorate the inside. Okay, so now we can close this card up and we can finish decorating the outside. Okay, so the first thing I did for the outside is I just cut a 3/4 by 3 inch piece of white cardstock and I just stamped the little greeting from the set on this particular piece. And then I stamped another floral. And so I want to use this on this part of my greeting. So I want to attach it to this part of my greeting because it's going to go right across the bottom here. And this little floral is going to kind of come up onto the pumpkin. So I'm going to adhere that little floral right here. We'll add some glue. And I'm just going to adhere that right there. Okay, so once I have my floral on here, then I can go ahead and I actually cut out another one of these florals, except there's no florals stamped on it. I cut it out with the coordinating die, the die I used to cut out this flower. I also used to cut out just a white one, because one of the things with the Stampin' Blends is that they show through when you color with them. So I wanted to just cut out a white one so that I could put it right over the top so that you don't see all that coloring. Because when you open this card up, you will see, you know, part of this floral through that window. Now, if you're not using Stampin' Blends, you can skip this step. But if you are using Stampin' Blends, they will show through. So it's best just to kind of cover it with another piece. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to add this to our card front, but we don't want any of the dimensionals to show through on the back side. So roughly we have to put our dimensionals down on the bottom here. So we will go right about here with our greeting. Let's just make sure. Yep. So our dimensionals don't show through. We can push this down. So we'll just kind of add a couple of gems there. And then that is what our fun fold looks like. So then you can just open this up and you can see some of the stuff through the window here. And then that is the rest of your card. So it's really a fun little pop-up card idea. And you can add some twine if you want, like I have twine on mine. Or you can leave it blank just like this without the twine. It's beautiful either way. Okay, so besides creating this little fun fold, you know, this is one way to decorate it with the Hello Harvest bundle. I also decided to create just another idea for you. It's the same concept. I used the exact same design. I just changed out the colors to create the second card. So this one I used a little bit of white craft ink in the background to stamp the pumpkins. And then this is one of the cool dies from the set, a little cool pumpkin that you can create in white, as I did here, or you can create it using the traditional colors. But it's the same concept for creating the inside of the card. So I just wanted to give you two different ideas just to kind of help get you started. Okay, so there you go. Now you have two different ways that you can use this window pop-up design in your card making. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.